right, so welcome to Mind Bloom, Anne and Victoria. I'm so excited to have you and to put a name to a face. I would like to start by asking you what makes your mind bloom, if you like to answer that question. Who wants to go first?
Well, right now my dog's barking in the background, so I apologize.
Okay.
She makes my mind bloom. She's my post-diagnosis, post-work life companion. Yeah. But so Victoria, jump in. What makes your mind bloom?
Actually, Anne and people like her, that I met along the way with metastatic breast cancer, it has enlarged my universe so much. I have gotten to know so many incredible women that I would have never, ever, ever had a chance to meet along the way, and it's amazing. And working with Anne on this podcast, and Anne and I also work on the Helpline together. It's an extremely rewarding experience, and it makes me want to wake up in the morning and get things done, which is not always easy when you have metastatic breast cancer.
Of course, yeah. Well, that's wonderful. And I'll want to talk more about that and the sense of community and all of that you get from our MBC life. But please, Anne, go ahead.
I completely echo Victoria. This is not a diagnosis that you expect to get, want to get. I was a de novo diagnosis, so it was stage 4 from the beginning. So having met so many of the people in the community and the support and the knowledge sharing and just the general we're here for each other does make my mind bloom. And also just constantly learning and constantly being engaged and finding things that bring you your sense of value and a sense of contributing always make the day better.
Yeah. And it is a day by day process for all of us, and for mental health as well. Just job loss, everything. It's important that people realize that it is, we just have to show up, I guess, for that one day and take a step and see what happens, and then take the other step. Isn't it almost like that?
Well, I've heard a lot of people say that the pandemic is giving them a sense of what life with a terminal disease is like, the unknowing, the loss of control. I think Dr. Lynn talked about that in the episode she did with us, that it's made her more empathetic, sort of that just kind of, you don't know what tomorrow is going to look like, or the next day. And that's life with metastatic disease. And so it's this time of pandemic has been interesting from that perspective, because it's caused a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
No, that's true, and it's absolutely right. The way we face our cancer was very similar. We also lost our jobs that we valued very much. Anne may talk to you about her job, but it was important to us, so we had to redefine ourselves after the diagnosis. And living with this fear of an unknown is probably similar to what a lot of people are experiencing now with coronavirus.
I know. So let's step back a little bit, because I know a little bit about you, but the people at home probably don't, right? So could we have a little...
Well, they can listen to the last podcast and they can get to know us.
So let's just skip this part. All right. Yes, you're right, guys. Do what Victoria is saying and go listen to our MBC live. It really is amazing. It's tremendous.
But what do you really want to know, Marina? We'll tell you.
We'll tell you. So I want to know how you met each other, how our MBC live came to be, as well as your helpline, all of that, all of the things, all the activism, all the advocacy and awareness you've been doing, and a little bit of your personal story, how you came to this diagnosis as well. So Victoria, I guess you have to go
I
first.
probably will start first because I have to deal with her companion.
Yeah.
So start from the beginning. I was 43 years old when I was diagnosed with early stage breast cancer. It was almost the same stage as you, a little bit more advanced. It was stage 1.
Yeah.
And I had the usual treatments with early stage diagnosis when it's a very aggressive disease. And I had my chemo and mastectomy. Maybe it's too much information, but I had that, and then I moved on with my life. I continued to work in investment banking, and for the next 9 years, I really truly forgot about cancer. People say that you never do, but some people actually do. People move on. Okay. And after a few years, I truly thought that was something in my past. It was an experience that I had to experience, and I moved on. But 9 years to the day, I was re-diagnosed now with stage 4 cancer, which is a metastatic terminal type of breast cancer, the only type of cancer that unfortunately kills. And so that was a really scary moment that lasted about 2 years. And then after 2 years, when I realized that I'm not dead and I'm doing fairly well, I thought, okay, so now what am I going to do with my life? I can't just live for the sake of my cancer. It has to be more than that. So I was very lucky to have found a support group in New York City where I met a woman who was very active at Share Cancer Support. That's a nonprofit organization here in New York. And I harangued and asked her for I don't know how long to introduce me to the folks at Share, and she did. And I started working at Share's. At that time, we had a helpline for all breast cancer survivors. And fairly early on, I realized that we really needed our own forum, because even though the cancers are called the same, they're not really the same. There are different characteristics, different troubles, different problems, different treatments. Everything is not quite the same. And Cher was very helpful in letting me start the metastatic helpline. And over time, I got people to help me out run it, because I could never do it myself. And so the call, and she came and she joined me, 2 years ago, was it, Anne? Less than that?
About a year, just over a year, I think.
It was like 2. And we got to know each other. I'm just so thrilled that I got to know Anne. And then Lisa, who started our MBC Live, the podcast, is a friend from that support group who gave me the start at Share. And that was her idea. She started with webinars at Share, but she felt that was not the right type of medium, and she wanted to do something different. And podcast was it turns out. And Share was, they were pretty responsive to our idea. And so here we are. And she recruited Anne and many other people. And now we have people who just want to be part of it, right? Now the word is out, and we're getting people who just want to help us out. And it's the most amazing group of women, and we have a man as well.
Yeah. Well, and it's, I mean, the metastatic community is really pretty amazing. And I found Victoria through just a post on a Facebook page of one of the biggest names in our community, a huge advocate and supporter of people, and had just posted something about, they're looking for volunteers. And it was something that, was attractive to me in terms of my career was all about working with people and personal relationships. And so getting to talk to people who are going through similar things and who just want hope. When I was diagnosed, like I said, I was diagnosed de novo, which means no early stage breast cancer. No, frankly, I'd never spent a night in a hospital. So the idea that I had all of a sudden a really serious illness was stunning to me. And I did what Victoria talked about from an early stage perspective. My goal was simply to go back to my career, my job, my life, and get treated and figure this out. And after about 2 years of doing that in a pretty stressful occupation, the treatment and the health and the job, they just don't play nice together anymore. But so what Victoria said resonates with me, because I guess I still have value and I can still provide value. I just can't do it in the way that I used to do it. And I have to put my health as my priority. And the nice thing about the podcast and the team that we're putting together is because we all have metastatic disease, we get it. Hey, I can't do anything today. I'm fatigued. Hey, I have a scan tomorrow. I've got to go do this. We have people who have had progressions in the 6 weeks that we're on the podcast together. So we have to have a large team and we have to have a supportive team, because it's not a job. It's something we're doing while we're trying to live with cancer.
Yeah, absolutely.